morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Oh my goodness, I forgot to put these on. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, one more time. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, beautiful Facebook friends. First of all, um, I want to express my deepest gratitude for last Saturday. All I woke up to a slew of birthday wishes, and there are no words to describe how grateful I feel for all of your messages, wonderful birthday wishes that I received. I never imagined that coming into this online space, I would feel so connected and so close and resonate so much with um, like minded people and with people that are just fabulous, wonderful people and thoughtful and just very caring people. So I am so grateful for all of you guys. Thank you for your well wishes and just just know that you made my day. Super duper grateful. So thank you, and I hope you are having a wonderful time with your families. And yeah, wishing you a wonderful week. This is Andrea Bergen. I work with high ticket affiliate marketing, and I work solely on Facebook. This is my marketing platform. Why? Because Facebook is where you can make connections, long term connections, um, build relationships with your audience, get to know them in a deeper level, in a long term, with a long term goal, with long term goals. And yeah, this is the platform that we can work together and build each other and serve each other in better and bigger ways. So yeah, I totally believe this, and I'm very happy to be able to do this here on this platform. Um, so I work solely with organic strategies, no paid ads, and I just use my Facebook profile. Hello, if you are watching this, please hashtag live or hashtag replay. Whoever you are, please give StreamYard uh, permission so that I can see your name, and I can see also your comments on this platform. Okay, thank you for watching, and whoever you are, Facebook user, thank you for being here. So yeah, um, so I want to talk about a recurring theme, which is we all talk about it. There are tons of posts out there about it, but I just felt really, um, just this really strong prompting to talk about it today. And let's see, hashtag live and tell me your name so I know who you are. I can say your name. Thank you for being here. So today's theme is three out of 9 ways to become more positive and 3 out of 9 ways to identify your strengths. And I started thinking about this because negative thinking or focusing more on the negative is a common human behavior. We have been hardwired to focus more on the negative, and that's because, hey, Mary, thank you for being here. So grateful for you. Um, as human beings, we are wired to focus more on the negative than the positive, and this is our defense mechanism. This is what keeps us in survival mode. And yes, 100 years ago, we needed this mechanism so that we could survive because we lived in dire conditions, and so we needed to be fully aware of the threats that came to us. But that was eons ago, right? So this defense mechanism indeed kept us alive. However, today, that's a different story. And um, dwelling on the negative only keeps us stuck in a rut, right? if you've ever felt, or every day when you experience negative feelings, these negative feelings will paralyze you, will keep you from moving forward, because you will become fixated on these negative ideas, these negative thoughts. And so, and we find many examples of negative thoughts or negative behavior in our lives. For example, when we were growing up in school, our teachers focused on the negative. They were always checking in red the misspellings that we made, the mistakes that we made, rather than focusing on the positive. I remember when I was in college, I was taking a journalism class, and the professor said, you have to write this paper, and if you and it's about celebrities or famous people, well-known people, and if you misspell, if you have one misspelling in that paper, you're going to get an F. And so, we're all, oh, yeah, no problem. We're not going to have any misspellings. Well, lo and behold, I worked on this paper for, yeah, a couple of days, or yeah, I did my work, and I was so enthusiastic about this paper. I was so excited. I was just like, oh, yes. I felt really, really confident that I was going to get an A on this paper. And so I put in my paper, I submit my paper, and then I get it back, and I open it, I turn to my paper, and I see a big fat F, red, big red circle. And you can imagine my shock when I saw that. But yeah, I made a grievous mistake. One of the names of the celebrities that I used in the paper, I made a mistake in the spelling. And just as he said, he didn't even continue reading the paper. He just gave me an F. So that was a traumatic experience for me. And so when I became an educator, I vowed that I would not, I wasn't going to focus on the misspellings. I wasn't going to focus on the grammar. I wasn't going to focus on the syntax. I was going to focus on content. And we see that on Facebook when people are writing content. We're not, well, many of us, we're not focused on the misspellings or the grammar or the or the or yeah, the punctuation. We're not focused on that. We're focused on content. And that's what I did as an educator. I focused on content. And I found that when I focused on the positive, that when I highlighted my students' strengths, that when I pointed out, hey, this is a great idea. And of course, I did address the problems, but I didn't focus on them. As I focused on the content, and as I focused on my students' writing skills, as far as their ideas, their creativity, they themselves began to focus more on the technique. And that was amazing. I remember doing a rubrics where I would tell them, okay, well, this is how many misspellings you got, and this is where you're at. But my comments were always focusing on their strengths and how proud I was of their creativity, how proud I was of their ideas, how proud I was of how much they wrote. And I started to see a change in my students' behavior toward writing and expressing their thoughts. And for me, that was wonderful. That was an aha moment, because I knew that focusing on the positive was much better than focusing on the negative. So, so that was my experience as an educator, and it's still my experience. So, yeah, and today, dwelling on the negative again only keeps us stuck. And we need to redirect our thoughts to become more self aware and positive. And how do we do this? Well, number one, there's three simple steps that we can start with. So, number one, we can recognize the fact from fiction in our negative self talk. So, for example, how do you recognize the facts from the fiction? Well, if you're saying always or never, those are keywords that tell you that, well, are you always late? Do you never do this and that? Well, that's not true. So once we start identifying that story that we tell ourselves, that I'm never late, or I'm always late, or I never get this right, or I always say the wrong thing. When we start to identify this fiction, these lies, these stories that we tell ourselves, then we start to see things from a different perspective. And number two, redirect your thoughts to something positive and notice how you feel. So when you say, I'm never on time. Well, really? Am I never on time? Okay, well, start thinking, were you on time yesterday? Yes, I was on time yesterday. That's right. And how do you feel? How did you feel when you were on time? So you identify something positive and you notice how you feel. And then you redirect, you refocus your thoughts on what is positive rather than dwelling and fixating on the negative. Because if you do that, then you're going to feel just overwhelmed and you're going to feel discouraged. And so that keeps us, when we start to feel discouraged and depressed, then that keeps us stuck. And so, yeah, then number three, cultivate an attitude of gratitude. So going back to that same subject, am I always late? No, I'm not always late. Yesterday I was on time. Ah, thank goodness. Yes, yes, I was on time. And I'm so grateful that I was on time. So focus, redirect your attention from the negative. Think about something positive, a positive situation, and notice how you feel with that positive situation, in that positive situation, and then feel gratitude for it. Practice an attitude of gratitude. And following these three steps, notice how your thoughts, how your feelings, how your actions, and how your results are going to change. So once we flip that switch from negative to positive, we can begin focusing and refocusing on our strengths, because that's what we're here for. We're here to focus on our strengths, to share those strengths with others. And when, yeah, of course, no one is perfect, but being able to feel the strength that we have, that those skills that we have developed, and know how we can share those strengths with others and how we can serve others with our strengths rather than our negative thoughts, our negative self-talk, then that changes the game. That is a game changer for us. So because of that tendency to focus on the negative, we've also been conditioned um, to focus on our weaknesses rather than our strengths. So, what are your strengths? And how do you figure out your strengths? So when you sit and think about your strengths, what do you think about? Does anything come up? Or do you think, no, I don't have any strengths? It's funny because when I lived in Japan, I lived there for 25 years. I would I would have students who would come to me and they would speak to me in English, and I would say, "Oh my goodness, your English is amazing. You've got really good English skills." And they would say, "No, no, no, no," and they would deny it. They would continuously deny their abilities, and and that was frustrating because instead of saying thank you, I'm working on it, I'm getting better, they would say, no, 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 I'm terrible, I can't speak English, and they're speaking English to me. So that was very, very frustrating, and it's part of the culture as well. But that's indicative of our state of mind, and that shows us how much we can move forward and how much we can um, learn how where we are on our journey. So um, being able to acknowledge our strengths is a huge game changer. So if we focus on our weaknesses, when we focus on our weaknesses, then that makes us feel more negative, that makes us feel more depressed, that makes us feel more discouraged. So why not switch the flip? Why not flip the switch? Why not flip the switch on that? So no, because this is a vicious cycle that again keeps us stuck in a rut. Knowing how to identify our strengths can produce a profound effect on our success. And you may be thinking, how do I move forward? How do I achieve my goals? How do I become successful? So we can start by building our authority model. And I started building my authority model back in September of 2020 when I started realizing that, yes, I needed to focus on my strengths. I needed to focus on building positive um, positive feelings, positive thoughts in order to be able to move forward for myself, because I did that for others, but I didn't do it for myself. So if you look in the back, you can see my chart, my whiteboard, which is full of colorful post-its, and it says think, do, and be positive. And that's my authority model. And in that authority model, I began writing. I began writing about my core values, and I began writing about my character traits, and I began writing about my hard skills, my experience, my education. And so that's my authority model, and I look at it and I keep that in mind because that helped me to become more and more aware, not only about my strengths but also to be more positive, to stay on that positive mode, to flip flip the switch and become more aware of being positive. So, developing internal and external self awareness, you can start by doing that, just developing your internal and your external self awareness. So, that means understanding clearly our thoughts, our feelings, our reactions, and how they impact our actions and our results, and how that affects other people as well. Um, and whoever you are, please hashtag live or replay in the comments below, and tell me where you're coming from, and ask me questions and make comments and give me some love. Okay. So yeah, so developing your internal awareness, your external awareness as well, and how that affects your engagement with people and with yourself as well, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results. And so, also, along with that, know who you are. So, what are your strengths? Think about it. What are your strengths? What motivates you? What makes you feel alive? What are your work habits? Do you procrastinate? Are you meticulous? Do you wake up early in the morning? Do you finish what you start? What are and what are your work habits, and what behaviors or habits affect your life positively and negatively? How does your communication with others affect you and them as well? Are you are you communicating effectively with the people that you communicate with? Do you have some blocks? Do you have certain things that you need to work on? Do you need to learn how to communicate more positively with others? Do you tend to focus on other people's mistakes more than on their strengths? Whatever you're doing to other people, that's what you're doing to yourself, because we're a projection of what we are. We project onto others what we are ourselves. So think about that. Start becoming more aware of that, and you will see more clarity in your actions, in your thoughts, in your feelings. So know who you are. Number 3, what are your character strengths? And that means your character strengths, we're talking about your soft skills. So that could be, what are your character traits regarding love, your gratitude, compassion, courage, forgiveness, generosity, self control, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And you can see my core values and my character traits I've written, and they're in orange and hot pink. And once you start writing that, then you become more and more aware of who you are and what makes you come to life and what core values resonate with people and who are you resonating with and who is your ideal client and who do you want to spend time with. So knowing that, becoming more and more self-aware and knowing your character strengths, and your character strengths are more what we call more your soft skills. Your hard skills are those skills that you have developed with your education, with your experience, and with your training throughout your life on your journey. So, but it's more important to know your character traits, which is really your soft skills. And when we know and focus on our strengths, we are better able to feel more confident. Wow, isn't that amazing to feel more confident? And you're able to feel more competent as well. And you are able to commit to your goals much better. Because once you know that you have the capabilities, that you are competent, that you are a confident individual, because you have the skills, because you have these unique qualities, because you are who you are. And when you understand that you can share that with others, then you are more committed. You become more committed on your journey. You become more committed to your goals. And that is an incredible feeling. It's it's it makes you feel alive, and it makes you feel um, worthy of your journey, worthy of everything that you receive. So I hope that this has been valuable to you. Um, if you feel that this has been of value, please comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know where you're coming from. And my next live is going to continue this. So this today, I just talked about 3 out of 9 ways that you can become more positive, and 3 out of 9 ways that you can identify your strengths. And tomorrow I'm going to do another live talking about more ways that you can become more positive in your life, and 3 more ways that you can identify where you can identify your strengths, and keep growing and keep finding solutions, keep focusing on the solutions rather than focus on the weaknesses or the negative. Because remember, we're hardwired to focus on the negative, but we have to flip the switch there. We have to flip the switch, and we have to become more and more aware of the positive and how that can change your life, and how that can change also not only your thoughts, but also your feelings, and also your actions, and also your results, because we are creators. So I hope this was of value. Have a wonderful Monday afternoon for me, and see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you for being here.